Hello, everyone. This is the Inner Voice Show, part of the Evolving Mind series in the Togetherness media. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, a psychotherapist and the founder of the Awareness Integration Theory. Today, I will talk to you about how to forgive ourselves, how to be in a path that we could actually be generous to ourselves. So here it is, tip of the week. Here's the tip of the week. As we embark on a new year, it's important for us to forgive ourselves for all that we think we have done wrong, or for a part of our character, or the way our body is. Forgiveness of self is much harder than forgiveness of others at times. Why should we forgive ourselves? Because it frees us. It frees us from anger, from resentment, depression, self-loathing, self-blaming, and pretty much self-punishment. Why is it so hard to forgive ourselves? We might hold ourselves to a higher standard than other people. We might not trust that we will not do the unforgivable act again in the future. We might think that we have no control. We might see the problem as not changeable or fixable. I've spoken with a man who was addicted, did not spend time with his son, and his son refused to talk to him. He can't bring the past back to change the course of their relationship. So he's angry at himself for creating this result. And since he's facing the loss daily, he can't forgive himself. I talked to a woman who had an abortion and feels guilty about not having a child, since daily she faces the lack of the child in her present moment. She can't forgive herself for making that decision, no matter how many times she goes back and looks at the reality of why she did what she did. And she made the right decision for that time. But today her needs have changed. And because her age does not allow her to have children, that desire she needs to mourn for the rest of her life. I spoke with a young woman whose body shape is not up to par with what fashion allows. So she can't forgive herself for not taking care of her body as a teen and feels powerless to change herself, since she contributes to this matter to not, this matter gets contributed because she can't get a date or go into a relationship. Others I've spoken to that can't forgive themselves for passing opportunities of a lifetime, having affairs or acting in a way that they lost relationships that they can't bring back. It's hard sometimes to go back and have compassion for yourself, especially if you're consistently having to pay the consequences of some of the decisions you made. It happens to all of us. So how do we forgive ourselves? Let's own it first. You can take responsibility and be accountable for the part that you did in creating a result that was not favorable for you. You may have made a mistake or consciously done an act to get a particular outcome that was only beneficial to you. Either way, in the long term, the results didn't turn out the way you wanted, and it didn't turn out in your favor. Let's see if this is a matter of the past or the present moment. If it's a matter of the past, something you've done before or caused hurt and harm to someone, can that relationship be repaired? Can you clear and clean up with that person? Can you communicate your remorse and make a new commitment? All of these lessons, the guilt, feeling that you carry for a lifetime. You can realize that at the time of any incident, you made a decision and acted upon the available information at hand at that time. And in the present moment, you have a broader perspective. In hindsight, everything looks different. But you might have to go back and really see what were the conditions at the time you made those decisions. And if you looked at all the aspects, you might see that at that moment, that was still probably the best possible choice with the information you had at that time, or there was a desire and there was a need that needed to be fulfilled at that time that just wasn't going to be fulfilled any other way, although maybe your logic said it's not okay, but the emotional need did what it needed to do. Treat yourself the same way that you would treat a friend who made a mistake. Sometimes we're so much more compassionate with others and forgive them, but just don't do it to us. Evaluate the standards that you would hold for others and compare them with the standards you're upholding for yourself. Treat yourself as you would treat others, actually, probably with a hell of a lot more compassion. Evaluate the realm of your responsibility for the incident. See how far it was your doing and what was the line when others were also responsible for whatever happened. Only take ownership of what you created and drop the load that was not your doing. This includes not holding yourself responsible for other people's emotions or thoughts, as well as their actions. Don't attach a negative general label or meaning about yourself because of some mistakes or action, such as, I'm such a failure that I will always screw up. I'm going to screw up all the time. I'm such a liar. I'm this or that. When you make this type of generalization about yourself, you will feel powerless and hopeless. You're more than one action or a mistake. You are also the person who learns from your mistakes or mishaps and can make them a better decision. Write a letter from the part that needs to be forgiven to you, acknowledging what needs to be forgiven and the sense of genuine remorse. Then write to the part of yourself that you need to forgive, as if it is a dear friend. Acknowledge the learning, what you've learned already. See the strength and the resiliency of that part and the growth that came from all of that experience. And commit to loving and integrating toward wholeness. Set values for yourself to uphold that you can be proud of and live them daily. So when you hold on to a set of values and behaviors and commitments, then no matter what, you can be proud of and assess everything you want to do in your decisions based on those values. I promise you, you'd be much more proud of yourself all the time. And then you get forgive. For more observational skills and integration, get my book, Life Reset, the awareness integration to create the path that you want. Thank you. Psychedelic drugs, once promising research subjects that were decades ago relegated to illicit experimentation in dorm rooms, have been steadily making their way back into the lab for a revamped 21st century style look. Scientists are rediscovering what many see as the substance's astonishing therapeutic potential for the vast range of issues, from depression to drug addiction and acceptance of mortality. In a major boost to the reviving field, John Hopkins Center for Psychedelic and Conscious Research is exploring the use of psychedelics on human beings, primarily psilocybin, a psychoactive compound found in certain mushrooms, and LSD, for problems ranging from smoking addiction to depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, anorexia, and Alzheimer's disease. Another one is, for centuries, if not millennia, indigenous Amazonian shamans have used ayahuasca to heal the physical, emotional, and spiritual ills of their communities. This visionary brew contains the psychoactive compound of DMT, as well as other chemicals called monoamine oxidase inhibitors, which blocks the enzymes in the human body that normally breaks down DMT before it reaches the brain. So studies carried out by the Berkley St. Paul research program have revealed that ayahuasca use leads to an increase in several key traits associated with mindfulness, such as decentering, which refers to the ability to observe one's thoughts and feelings in the objective and non-judgmental way. This, in turn, has been shown to help sufferers of a depression, anxiety, grief, and PTSD to overcome their condition. These brain imaging studies at Berkley Foundation have shown and revealed that ayahuasca reduces the control of the brain network called the default mode network and provide compelling evidence that this may be behind the bruised therapeutic power. Intriguingly, they also showed how certain compounds of ayahuasca stimulate the birth of new neurons from stem cells into a petri dish. This opens the door to the possibility of using ayahuasca to regenerate damaged brain cells, potentially pointing the way to a new pathway to even treating Alzheimer's and dementia. Ayahuasca intake led to a significant increase in the two facets of the FFMQ, indicating a reduction in judgmental processing of experience and in inner reactivity. It also led to a significant increase in decentering ability as measured by the EQ that changes our classic goals for conventional mindfulness trainings. And the scores that were obtained were the same average of what any of the mindfulness training is trying to create, and at the same range of those observed after extensive mindfulness practice. So if you are interested in any of the scientific research or you want to be part of the research, John Hopkins Center, Berkeley Institute, and MAPS, multidisciplinary association for psychedelics, you could do that. MAPS also, maps.org. So you could go to any of them to see some of the research, or if you have a depression or would like to be part of the research. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Togetherness Media. Togethernessmedia.com.